bought poker chips with my. They haven't come in yet, but they're like the nice clay ones, and they've got our little QR code on them and our logo on the other side. And it's like, don't gamble on your home inspection.
Oh. Say this isn't the first time. This is the last time you're doing it. Unless you don't use me. That's a good one. Don't gamble on your mortgage guy.
Don't gamble, yeah. Don't gamble.
Probably going to steal that.
Might be the one, baby.
Those might be the next things. I do say now, I give you the pick me, give me a shot, and I get the chip clip. Obviously, I'll stick with you.
I love it. It's good. I get what you did there. It's good.
I know companies that give out the poker chip with the intention, or they'll use it as a ball marker on the green in your golf. Like you want the ball marker to be flat in case somebody's ball hits it.
It's the point of it.
Can roll through, not hit the chip, hop and go in whatever direction. Hey everybody, welcome back to Real Estate Makes Us Drink. Brian Quinlan here from Daniels Real Estate.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Brad Nick of Nest Mortgage Group.
Thanks for being here. And we have another special guest today.
Thank you very much, Jeff Crane from Home Team Inspection Service.
Jeff, thanks for being here, man.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it. And let's give it up here.
Toast?
Yeah, just cheers. Welcome.
Cheers.
To the show. What are you drinking today, Brad?
Tequila and squirt.
Well, I have beer every time, but at least I'm, differing my beers.
Casa Noble this time.
Okay, well, that counts.
This shirt I wore in the last podcast.
Yeah, that's right.
It was a Casa Noble shirt.
Cool. What did you bring for yourself
today? This is a fine blood orange IPA from Center Point.
Center Point, local
down there on Mass Ave. Yeah, absolutely. Out in Broderpool now, I think, as well. But go to the original. Go to the home. Go downtown.
Are they the one that's right by the Foaling warehouse?
Yes, by the Foaling.
Have you done Foaling?
Very clever game. Way harder than it looks. Bring your best arm strength.
Honest to goodness, I've told people if you're not good at throwing, that is not the thing to just go try.
It's It's fun to see people who don't know anything about how to throw a football. When that ball wobbles and just gets around, it might take out more pins than somebody who thinks they know what they're doing.
Oh, that is true.
It is a random idea.
We did have a Foaling warehouse discussion several episodes ago. It might have been season 1. I think we did because I had just gone.
I remember you going there.
There was a little bit. Thanks for.
I had to work.
He doesn't watch.
I had to go do loans, so I couldn't go play games with you.
Classic.
Stop inviting you to things.
It is a theme.
It is.
And you're right. I do not watch the show.
I know. Again, we talk about that almost every episode. It's unfortunate.
It's like reruns, though. I don't watch reruns. I don't watch a movie I've already watched, and I've seen this the first time. I've seen the original.
And as you know, I get to edit this sucker, and so I get to watch it at least one other time.
They may not know that.
Well, I'm the editor-in-chief of this shebang.
I think you should run credits at the end.
Which just keep adding to it, like the new graphics we have.
Yeah, those
Brilliant.
are fantastic.
Now, we do have to thank our executive producer,
That's right.
Tony Nickham. She came up with this brilliant idea, so hopefully you can see the stuff flashing here behind us. Good stuff. Thanks, Tony.
Next time I may slip like a secret picture in it.
That's right, and then someone
you
has
have to comment what the picture
to win a prize.
And then you win whatever's on the picture.
It's just expanding. I love it. Love it. Tell us about home team inspections, because I will say when I recommend inspections to my clients, home team is always on my list. There are others because I like to give people options, but home team is one that I do appreciate using. So tell us about y'all.
So we're a little different. We bring more than one inspector to the table, so it goes a little quicker for the seller, and it also has hopefully more eyes on there that bring experience in that particular area, so we can give you a better report and do it a little quicker. We've just expanded again to yet another team, and we're now doing 7 days a week. So we're having a really great period in our history, and there's a home team in a market near you if you're watching nationally. We're a brand headquartered out of Cincinnati, and my wife and I are the owners here in Indianapolis. So,
well, cool.
It's a franchise.
It is.
Awesome.
It is, absolutely. And been around 30 years now. So
no kidding.
We've got a lot of processes that are really repeatable and duplicatable, and as the owner / manager, my wife's the boss. We make sure she stays in the good graces. Anyway, the rest of us are really.
You're not sending her into crawl spaces.
She's not. No,
okay.
She's not.
Probably
she's not.
Good.
We did add our first husband-wife team as an inspector. We've got a husband-wife team, and they are amazing. They do a lot of the weekend work, Saturdays and Sundays. So there aren't that many lady inspectors. The women don't typically gravitate towards that job, and so we're really happy. That's really cool for that non-alarming, motherly. We need a little estrogen sometimes in that conversation to kind of dial things down a little bit. Home inspectors are notoriously known for ruining a deal.
Yeah.
Being...
As a lady myself, I would never climb in a crawl space.
As you're mentioning the husband and wife team, I'm thinking, next career for my wife Stephanie and myself, my ass is not going in a crawl space.
Whatever, anything but.
Yeah, seriously, I mean, my wife, she'd probably go down there because.
Have you ever been in your crawl space?
I don't have one. I live on a slab, so no.
Smart move.
But like my wife is friends with any animal. She believes the vicious ones, they're just starving for attention. So, one of my worst fears going into a crawl space would be something living down there unexpectedly,
A badger.
Like a badger.
Badger would be terrible. Yeah.
Right? And
we find a lot of birds, a lot of raccoons. Usually, the ones that we really talk about as a team are the ones where the snake skins are all hanging down from the floor joists above. It's really creepy.
Oh,
yeah.
That makes
I'm out.
Home inspectors are a lot like ER nurses. And they talk about the things they find in the ER.
Yes.
The things they find in the crawl space, which all of those things may be similar.
Okay, so quick, maybe not quick, story that I had from over this past weekend. One of my clients wanted to go look at several houses. So I set up 3 visits that were all right in the same pod, 2 homes right next to each other, a third one across the street. So when I get there, park my car, a woman gets out of the car in front of me and introduces herself. She was another realtor who thought I was there to meet her to go to look at one of the houses. And I was like, no, I'm here to be with my client. So, okay. So my client and I go into one house. She goes into the house that's across the street. So we both kind of came out of our homes at the same time. And she says, word of warning, when you go into that one over there, I'd recommend a mask. I was like, well,
does your house have COVID?
Shit. I didn't, honestly, maybe on the list of things to, what does wear a mask mean? Does the house have COVID? Okay, sure. I'm thinking mold potentially, which I'm, decently allergic to. Animals, feces, whatever that might be. Maybe there was a dead body previously in there. Who the heck knows?
Still is.
Could be a number of things, right? And so we get done, we head over there, and I was like, well, she said wear a mask, which I didn't have with me. So we're like, well, we'll see how this goes, see how long we last. So we walk in the door, and it just reeks of animal. And as soon as you walk in, it's just old, nasty carpet that I'm sure the animal or multiple animals had done their thing. And the house was vacant, so no one living there. But, I mean, we're just walking through like, this is just awful. But possibly a bit of mercy as we venture away. There's a long stretch of tile floor and a pool table, and then the kitchen. So I'm like, all right, hopefully as we get over there, the smell might dissipate a little bit. Didn't think it would completely go away. No, it did not. So we turn a corner into the kitchen, and there is what I believe is probably a meat freezer and a puddle of red juice underneath the meat freezer.
I don't think it was juice.
Meat freezer that is duct taped closed with like 3 pieces of duct tape. And I was like, oh, we're not opening that.
Doesn't come with the.
Was there a pit in the basement?
There was.
Did it come with the house?
There was a nasty basement. There was a nasty old bed in the basement. Probably some black mold in the corner.
Some lotion.
I did not see any lotion. I did not see a dugout pit. Just a nasty old basement.
Oof.
And we went back upstairs, and he's like, man, I wonder what's in that fridge. I go, oh, we're not finding out.
Don't you dare.
No, there ain't no way. So
It's Gertrude.
yeah, I mean, again, as an inspector.
Was the power off?
Honestly, no. I was able to turn lights on.
Was that switch on a? Was that plug on a switch?
I don't.
Oh,
didn't
that
mess
could have
with
been
it.
a bad.
Maybe it just wasn't even plugged in.
Wow.
I mean, I have no idea, but I wasn't going towards that. But I was like, that is just disgusting. So
there are some great junk hauling services that would just put that right on a truck and take it right to the dump.
So how far above list did they go?
Actually, it was an estate sale, and it
Gertrude.
was priced
Gertrude's
at
in there.
it was priced at $75,000.
Yeah.
We did not go after that one.
Gotcha.
Oddly enough, my client was like, "This, I mean, if we get rid of some things, this house is okay." I'm like
the smell?
whoo, okay, but thankfully he made an offer and got accepted on another house. So
It's a lot of work
I don't have to
to
mess with
redo.
that.
I've done a house like that before. It's a lot of work.
Yeah,
There's upside. There's a lot of upside, a lot of potential, right?
Yeah, there's a whole lot of potential in that house. That's for sure.
One thing we try to tell everybody is on the driveway before we get started with them is, hey, human made, human fixed. It can be all. There's no perfect house yet. We haven't found one, so there's something, right? There's some really nice houses. Some are better than others, but there's all just everybody relax and let's just figure out what you need to budget and how you need to budget it.
So, we're hopefully speaking to people who might be looking for real estate information.
Sure.
What can they expect from a home inspection?
There should be a book. Like when you have a baby, your wife gets that book, What to Expect When You're Expecting. There should be a book called What to Expect When You're Inspecting. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of things that sellers should look for when they're just looking at the open houses and they're just going through. I mean, I've got a whole list of those kind of things I can give folks as they go through. Honestly, check to see if the filter on the furnace is been changed. Right away if they're paying attention, they've been a good homeowner. There's probably a clean filter in there. So right away you'll know kind of what to expect.
Crap! I think my furnace filter's probably dirty.
Oh, let's go get that fixed. We got an answer for that, hopefully. But the main thing we're there for is safety. And there's kind of a universal methodology to home inspection versus a county building code. So we're there for defects and safety, and trying to help people understand what they're budgeting, what they need to budget for the maintenance of that house. There's no owner's manual typically. So if you're selling a house, please put together a book of all the manuals. It's a great little, shows that you're really together and how to present your place. Have a pre-listing inspection. You can even show them what's wrong with it. It'll really dial down and you'll speed through the closing. Because you can fix a few things much cheaper with Cousin Larry than you can, and do it right. I mean, you don't have to have a licensed contractor for every single thing. We try to be really cool about how we explain that, and then it's up to the realtor to negotiate. But we'll take our reports and extremely high, urgent, and then we'll dial the list down accordingly. Some things you just need to be aware of for maintenance. Things, weather, winterizing. There's just things that people just need to be mindful of, and that's just part of being a homeowner.
The pre-list is probably the best idea. Like if I was going to list my house for sale, I would have it done so I could give it to the borrower.
Yeah. Because
I don't know who the inspector is that they may hire, right? And then I want to fix the things that I think are important.
And what I tell people about that is you can save a lot of money on the back end of your house deal by getting it pre-inspected. Because like you said, maybe Uncle Larry is an electrician or a plumber or something that can, inspector calls out the fact that you have a plumbing leak here you knew nothing about, or your electrical is jacked up and need that fixed. Well, hey, call in Uncle Larry. He can do it for a case of beer.
Yeah, and if there's something you're not going to fix, you called it out and you served it as a marketing material, and all of a sudden you're like, as is. We know it. It's on. Yeah, and you can sleep easy at night. They know what they're getting. They know you're not trying to hide anything. Yeah. And let me propose changing the game a little bit. Two inspections. Have us come early, then and give you a list. Then let Cousin Larry of the world, Cousin Larry's, we love you, thank you, fix it, and then let us come back again and give it the real picky report where you can say, all right, that list of 30 things went down to 5 that we just don't want to work. Here you go. And it gives it a much cleaner bill of health. You're not hiding anything. You're just getting your house up to speed and getting your ducks in order, or in a row, or whatever the cliche is.
Get your poop in a group.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Get your poop in a group.
You know what Cousin Larry's brother's name is?
Daryl.
It's Daryl, yeah. And his other brother.
Also Daryl.
It's Daryl, yeah.
Love that guy.
That is an obscure TV joke that there are a lot of people no idea.
They won't get that.
Well, for us people who are born and graduated in the 1900s,
right,
there's a lot more stuff that we can recollect. Like I had a black and white TV as a kid.
I have very faint memories of that, but yes, I was around during those days.
I was the TV changer.
Yes,
that's correct. I was the remote control.
Yeah, right.
They had an app for that.
Yeah,
Brad.
I remember a VCR, and like the remote was corded to the VCR.
Yeah.
And I can distinctly remember the movie Superman. The movie Superman with Christopher Reeve on national TV, and of course with commercials. And so I was sitting there with my remote, pressing stop when the commercial came out because we were recording it. And then when it came back on, pressing record. But I remember having a conversation with my parents because it was the first time we had ever done that. Like, can we talk? I mean, can this hear us talking? Are we gonna?
Oh yeah, like it was an open cassette.
Yeah, like it was microphoned or something. So
I had a friend in high school that had the laser disc thing.
Oh,
They were rich.
I knew very
That's
few
rich,
people.
dude.
Yeah, that's
They
rich.
were rich. Yeah, they lived in like a house that they built there, not like I lived in one that they brought there. So they were really rich.
what's a shame is our kids will never know the old "Be kind, please rewind."
Yeah,
That's
or
just
some
not-
of this sounds.
Oh, for sure. The internet. Be kind, please rewind. I worked 5 years at Blockbuster Video.
Nice.
Thank you very much. So
Okay.
And that's why they didn't make it.
there was the aggravation of people not. I mean, it's stupid aggravation, but people return that and it's not rewound. I mean, we had rewinding machines to stick it in there, but it's like come on, man.
Yeah, but at minimum wage, with back then was probably $1.25 an hour.
That's
That was a lot of
Back
work.
in the day,
It was late 90s.
it's over 4.
Exactly. Exactly. Hey, you poured something.
We didn't do a shot. We always do a shot. And
Now this is well, I do need to call myself out here.
this isn't your win. This is
No, yes, it is.
No. This is the
Son
shot
of
we
a-
all do.
All right, I guess I'm not calling myself out yet.
No, they're gonna find out that you're a loser. At a bet, he's amazing at everything except for betting.
Oh, I'm terrible at gambling, it seems.
Yeah.
All right, so what do we got here, my
Well, let's
friend?
taste it first, and then I want to know what you think it tastes like.
All right, well, cheers to guest number 2.
Thank you
Jeffrey.
so much.
Thanks for being here,
Thanks
buddy.
for
Cheers. We're going all the way.
Yeah.
Tastes like a cookie.
A cookie?
Yes.
I'm going with Fruity Pebbles.
Fruity Pebbles.
Yes.
Tastes like Fruity Pebbles.
Okay.
Yeah.
You made a face, and then your face became happy.
I know.
You were like,
It's like,
"Ooh,
wait
a minute, I like that. Actually,
That's a
I
fun.
didn't want to.
Did my face do that too?
No.
Rewind it.
Well,
I feel like I did that face.
So a Junction 35, that's called Bam Bam
Ooh,
Vodka,
vodka.
Wow.
All right, that's why it
It's
wasn't
from-
the bet settler.
Pigeon Forge, Tennessee.
Wow.
Mm.
Cheers.
And
Okay.
it tastes just like Fruity Pebbles.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive.
Wow, that's impressively like Fruity Pebbles.
Yeah, it tastes like Fruity. I
Awesome.
think they actually don't use potatoes to make it. They use
Rice.
Fruity Pebbles.
I forgot that. We talked about yours. We talked about yours. It's my Pacers beer right here,
Yeah.
which I found at Total Wine, of course. Courtside Indiana Pale Ale, not to be confused with IPA, the India Pale Ale. But this is from Upland Brewing Company, and I'm assuming they sell these at Pacer games. It's good, so I'm a fan.
You think they'll have that this weekend downtown?
Got to.
I think I'd guarantee.
Is this? I don't watch basketball, so don't get mad at me. Is there any Pacers in the All Star?
Yes, in fact, the leading vote getter and a starter in the All-Star game is Tyrese Halliburton from the Pacers.
Huh.
That's a big honor to be the leading vote getter.
Part of the Halliburtons from
No.
what town is that? Where they're all from? Where they make caskets and
Oh, Batesville.
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 No,
He's
that
out of the
is,
Batesville Halliburtons.
Not the Batesville Halliburtons. But anyways, Tyrese, yes, he's also in the 3-point contest on Saturday.
Oh, it's not just a game.
Nope. Oh,
It's a
bro,
whole festival.
it's an All-Star game weekend. Indianapolis is the host of the All-Star game, which I don't know how many people realize this. It was supposed to be back in 2021, I believe.
Right.
And then COVID ruined that, and they moved the All-Star game to somewhere else, which was funny because when they moved it to another city, and I don't recall
Was it the
what
bubble?
city it
Was
was.
it a
It
bubble?
wasn't the bubble.
Okay.
Because they didn't do an All-Star game for the
Okay.
bubble. But whatever the next city was that ultimately had it, they used the jerseys that were supposed to be in Indianapolis for that game. And they ended up resetting it for 2024. So,
Huh, how about
pretty
that?
cool.
Not a bad thing, actually, because all the renovations that happened down there, they wouldn't have had the plaza ready. They wouldn't have had all
Absolutely.
the things related to, and they've got more time to put it
Have you
together.
seen the plaza?
It's beautiful.
Yeah, very cool. Next to Gainbridge Fieldhouse.
The game's actually at the football stadium. They're doing
No,
a giant.
actually, it's not. The game is at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Saturday night is at the football
Oh, okay.
stadium.
Sorry, my
Yeah,
fault.
that's okay.
I don't have an office down there. My office is up here, so I don't get to see those things on the weekends because if you need a mortgage, I'm not goofing around. I'm at my desk. I'm ready to do it for you.
We drive around a lot as inspectors.
Exactly.
We're all over town,
Yeah, and I'm
We get out a little
driving
bit.
around,
showing houses.
finding out stuff about the city.
I drove
And-
8,000 miles last year.
You're insane. I got that beat.
The whole year. Like I didn't have to get my oil changed. Because of mileage, I had to get it changed because it had been a year.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Dang. Okay. So, All-Star Game stuff. Are you heading downtown for any of that? And again, I realize this will air after the All-Star Game, but
I'm really proud of my wife. Her band is actually playing with the Arts Garden group. There's a big musical festival inside the Arts Garden on Friday night.
The Butter Art Fair is going on up in the Arts Garden.
Okay, wait.
There's all
It's
kinds
not
of
butter.
fun stuff.
And I don't even know what that has. I just saw the title.
There's so many
It's not
activities
butter.
going on downtown.
Yes.
You just go to your proper website to find all the information.
It was
there's so much fun.
No, it was the word butter. What does your wife play? Or sing?
She's a singer, and she
cool.
sings with a group called Direct Contact, and they're a Latin jazz band, and they got invited to join the whole fray because there's a lot happening downtown. There is not like one stage or one venue that's not booked. Just go experience it. There's 100,000 square feet full of fan jam kind of all-star areas in the convention center. It's maxed out. It'll feel Super Bowl-ish. That was 12 years ago? 10 years ago?
Sadly, 12.
Yeah.
2012.
Yeah. So we're 12 years away from that. So this is kind of a
Similar weather.
exactly.
Well, yes, it's
Oh,
actually
we're
it's supposed to be in the
warmer.
30s Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, but I mean Super Bowl week here. If it was last week, we'd the same.
That's
True.
pretty brilliant.
Yep.
Pretty brilliant.
Yeah, so my wife and I going on Saturday to do the convention center stuff.
Good.
She has no interest in sports, but she's a trooper, so she'll follow along. She'll rebound for me.
Okay.
And I was like, I feel like we need to go downtown and experience stuff because Georgia Street, of course, is going to be all shut down because there will be music.
Every hotel is booked.
Every
hotel room is
The
booked.
NBA sent 3,000 people here to work. That's like an entire hotel in and of itself, right?
So you tell me I shouldn't go to Tony's this weekend?
I don't recommend that.
Maybe the
well,
one in
I mean,
Carmel.
you know someone who can get you in, so you can probably get a table.
Hey, Ruben, Tony, and I'll probably do that this weekend.
Hi, Ruben.
Right over there, so thank you for coming in the mail. We got.
Awesome.
They love us.
Yeah, Georgia Street's got stuff. Bicentennial Unity Plaza outside Cambridge Fieldhouse has stuff. Of course, the Circle will be lit up and partially shut down with
It's like
from
a
traffic.
stage on the circle, right?
I actually don't know that, but definitely could be. I know that there are going to be 4 DJs there's going to be 1 on the Circle, 1 at the Unity Plaza, and 2 on Georgia Street. I've been doing my research. Jeff, little info about you as we're talking sports here.
Yeah.
Now,
Did not play many sports.
I'm associated with Center Grove, and the fans out there may know I'm associated with Center Grove.
You're the voice.
I would need to pause. I don't like being called the voice of Center Grove.
Sorry.
Only because my predecessor prided himself on being the voice of
you're
Center
right. He
Grove
did.
and
He
literally
did.
called himself the voice of Center Grove, and God rest his soul.
He was an amazing dude. I enjoyed.
I would like for you to refer to me as the Golden Voice.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Raise it up a notch.
Now, I did not
call me
coin-
El Conquistador.
I did not coin that. The athletic director at CG
Oh, that's
actually
sweet.
said that to me one time, and so that's kind of carried over just between him and me. But anyways, yes, I am the person on the PA for Center Grove football and boys basketball. But you are an actual graduate of Center Grove High
Class
School.
of '95.
No way, class of '95. Good for you.
This is the year they. Back in my day. No, just kidding. I won't. I'll spare you. I'll spare you.
That was before they were worth a damn in football.
It was. It was. Marching band ruled.
Oh yes.
Now that's flipped
were
and
you in
back
the marching
again.
band?
You know. So there's all kinds of cool stuff.
I stopped musical instruments in 6th grade.
Were you in the marching band?
Shout out to the Center Grove Marching Band, former drum major, field commander, '94.
Nice.
So-
Okay. Now we're going down that rabbit hole.
Love the band.
I know kids who are in the band are likely there because they love it. It is a cult, and I say that with all
With
respect.
love.
Did you just call the
Because
band a cult?
It absolutely is.
Are you
as
saying their band is the cult?
No.
Community, maybe community.
As
Sounds
a
better than a cult.
It does sound like
As a non-band person growing up, I fell into being a band parent when my son in 8th grade got into the Perry Marching Band and did that for 5 years.
Okay.
But I could never understand, through all the years that he did band, how in the summer times they're there at 8 in the morning until 8 or 9 at night. And I know that they're not always outside that entire time.
Sure.
But I also can't fathom as a sports person how people can be in the band without having to do a physical. Like they should have to do a sports physical like someone would do if they're going to be on the, because I've known kids who passed out because
we
of
had some of
physical
those.
exhaustion from doing band practice. I'm like, how is this okay? That was not where I was going with this.
All right.
Yeah, so if you're going to be in the band, get your prostate checked.
No, it's not what you do when you're a teenager, for goodness sakes.
Oh, teenage band.
That's correct.
Okay, that's completely different.
But no, I feel it's a cult because, like, when I would bring that up to my son, like how are you okay with being there for 12 hours a day? He's like, that's just what we do. And when I tell that to my wife, she's like, well, yeah, that's just what you do when you're in the band. So how are you okay with this is just what we do?
But okay, so what if you're a football player and you did 2
Football
days?
players don't do 12-hour days.
Yeah, but they do 2 a days, and they
okay.
They
It's 2
waste
days
the
with
middle
2
of
hours
their
here.
day.
You are comparing apples and oranges.
Thank you.
Yeah, but
Okay.
fruit's a fruit.
Okay. And so it's outside. They're both outside. They're both on a football field. They're both hot. They're both very hot. And they're
kids, I mean,
athletic.
they're not getting paid to play high school football. They're not getting paid to be in the band. I mean,
I will say, though, that
I didn't do either of those.
Right.
I will say, though, the band is very athletic. In that you have to cover 15 yards in 8 beats or 8, less than 10 seconds at least, depending on how fast the music is. But there's some pretty heavy, lift, and you have to always play an instrument while you're doing typically.
Yes.
And sound good while you're doing it.
I
So
play the ring.
it is.
Yeah. Triangle thing. That's the one I like.
Those guys usually stand up front.
Yeah, that's right. If you're that person, you're standing still.
If you actually look on the sideline, there's always a couple of alternates. So there's people that understand kind of the section by section. So there's usually an alternate or two. But
Jimmy, grab your ring. You're going in.
If you ever see a gap in the formations, there's probably somebody who got hurt. I mean, we had all kinds of athletic injuries. We stretched. We did all the things. We did calisthenics. We did all kinds of things to prepare. It is an athletic event, and plus,
it's not a cult though.
Yeah, let's go back on the cult.
It's not a cult. Like David Koresh has a cult. The dude that made everybody drink the Kool-Aid, Jim Jones, that was a cult.
I'm sorry.
There's a band called The Cult, but these guys are just in band in high school.
Someone who
will
spend
our theater
12-hour days.
Are theater kids a cult?
To a certain extent.
They do the same thing.
12-hour days out in the heat on the parking lot where it just increases the heat even more. And then when I question it, they're like, oh yeah, that's just what we do.
So if it's air conditioned, it wouldn't be a cult.
No, it still is.
Okay, it's not a cult. People in the band are not.
There's a mental quest though to try to figure this show out and to work it out, and you're going to solve the problem. And I think that drives a lot of that. We're going to figure this out. And yeah, it's hot, but I'm already out here. I'm already sweaty. We're going to do this, and we're going to be great at it. And they're not
going to be at the same party the football players are going to be at afterwards.
That's true. That's very. I can speak to that. That is very true.
They have their own parties.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a whole different grind.
Okay.
But it teaches a ton of things about teamwork and respect.
For sure.
And discipline.
I gained great respect for the band and the band kids going through it with my son. So shout out to the band and people who coordinate all of that. There is a lot involved in what they do. It's very impressive.
But I mean, as is football or any of the sports, I mean, there's a ton of support, and
for sure,
that's the beauty of some of that.
The original question I was coming back to that I never got to.
Go for it.
Did I take you off track?
Partially. So you're in the band. You play an instrument, which you've played for a while.
Sure.
What possesses you to give that up to go be the director?
The drum major or
the
field commander? Yeah.
Yes, because you're no longer playing an instrument. Now you're literally standing on a platform, and you're directing.
Well, there was an opening. I thought I'd give it a shot. I thought I'd always looked up to that person before. All those people before me were amazing folks, and I wanted to give it a shot. The tryout was intense. You had to conduct in front of your peers, in front of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It was intense. It was an honor because not everybody gets that spot. There were only 2 of them at the time, and there was already somebody who was coming back. So there was 1 spot, and there were some great people that I was competing with. And I like to think it's because I was some genius, but I hopefully followed directions really well, and I helped lead the crowd, and. But it was an amazing experience.
It's a logical transition.
I totally get it.
Quarterback of a football team,
yes.
And years later, I'm the coach of a football team.
It all makes sense, okay? Yeah. And it's certainly a position of prestige.
Here's the difference: he could still play the instrument, and Andy Reid can't run the floor.
True. So, as an outsider looking at that, I feel it's a bit of a detriment to the band because we've taken someone who's obviously really good at their instrument.
You're right.
And they're not out there playing.
That'd be debatable if I was really good at my instrument.
Okay.
That's debatable.
Okay.
But also chair 2 can eventually come chair 1 because they did a great
True.
job and
Sure,
progressed.
but you know what? There could be a big divide between chair 1 and chair 2.
You know, when it comes to playing music, I as a musician,
Uh-huh.
I disagree sometimes. I mean, there's people who are just great. There's savants out there, right? But
Jeff Crane.
No.
But let's say, okay, take Eddie Van Halen as a guitarist, right? As the innovation of what he did, and some of his soloing is amazing. But very young new guitarists can figure out all of the rhythm pieces and all of the parts between the soloing and make it sound just exactly the same.
Okay, I'm going to take your example of chair 1, chair 2, and okay. Peyton Manning could have been, at the time of playing, an offensive coordinator, head coach potentially of the football team.
Never a running back.
But he can't be on the field playing.
Right.
Jim Sorgi now has to come in because he's the number 2 quarterback.
Well, no, you get Patrick Mahomes.
No! This is what you have to work with. You can't just bring it.
Okay,
so it doesn't work that way, though, because people progress up. They're not going to take the best. They're not going to take the only quarterback and go, hey, you can't play anymore. Now you're going to be the coach, and now we're going to put in.
Is your question more about why didn't he go to a career in coaching?
No.
Is that your question?
He's saying that because you were a great
I feel like sometimes
now that you're directing it, because you're not playing, the band sucks.
You're downplaying your musical ability. Okay?
Yeah, but he can lift up the person that took his place.
Maybe
he knows when they
but
don't
you
sound
can't.
right.
You're not going to lift Jim Sorgi up to the level of Peyton Manning.
No, but Peyton Manning would hire Patrick Mahomes.
It's not the scenario. This is high school band.
Okay,
so we'll edit this part out. We'll be editing this out. This is good. I was neither Jim nor Peyton. First of all, in this scenario.
What instrument did you play?
Saxophone.
Okay.
So you're a diamond.
So when you
perhaps.
So he wasn't the guy on the E Street Band playing the saxophone.
Okay.
That all of a sudden replaced Bruce, right?
Sure.
Which would be easy because I think he's a horrible singer. But
one of the most overrated of all time.
I completely agree. If you're watching, we're sorry, Bruce.
Hi, Bruce. I don't like your music.
But as the person that becomes the coach, if you're a great coach, you can coach the person that took your place in the band to be.
So you would hope.
If not, maybe better. But if not, you just kick them off the band and get a new person.
There were a whole staff of directors that were way above my pay grade, which was 0. Okay. All right. So all I'm saying is that I guess in my career, being a salesperson didn't mean you were a good sales manager.
Okay.
2 different skill sets.
Yeah.
Completely.
You don't always promote your best salesperson to sales manager because it's 2 different skill sets. So I was lucky enough to have both of those jobs to understand where I came from, but also I feel like we did pretty well.
He just filled that hole.
The
hole in your brain just went.
Thank you. Yep. You did pretty well. You were going to say?
Sorry.
No, the CG band in the 90s was sensational.
Yeah. I think we finished 4th place the year I was in the state. The year I was director or conductor or drum major, whatever adjective you want.
So you did that while you were in high school? Mm-hmm. Okay, I thought you did it now. I didn't know.
No. How many years were you a drum major?
Just 1.
Just 1.
They could only take 1. Yes.
Was it your senior year?
Yes.
All right. Gotcha.
1 and done.
Yeah. We have something in common because I led some things in school too. The detention. Most days skipped out of my class, and probably most days suspended.
Number 1 in tardies.
No, I was never tardy because I had a friend that would mark me
present
on time on the paper. Because in the old days, in the 1900s, they put a paper in the door.
Oh,
love that.
So Wayne Hall and I would decide that we were going to skip out, so we go to the school parking lot, and then we knew what time they put all the things in the door. So then we'd go to our first class, and we would mark ourselves present. We
on the way in,
paper out, and then we'd bail out of the school, and then they only took attendance that morning and after lunch. So we just had to be back at school after lunch to mark ourselves present.
Sorry, present day children.
Sorry.
You guys are screwed with all the computer stuff.
Yep, all done on electronics at this point.
Skipped 36 days my senior year, but they only do about like 9 of them.
Wow, someone needs to go back to the high school records and update.
Yeah, because that bad schooling really hurt me.
It really has set you back.
Really set me back.
All right, Jeff. Speaking of schooling, so Center Grove High School.
Yeah.
What'd you do after that?
I didn't go to college. I went to Ball State. So shout out to all the Ball State people out there. Only we can use that joke. I feel like that's our joke.
What
but,
year did you go to Ball State?
Yeah, right after high school. So
What year did you
95 to
graduate?
99.
95?
Yeah,
Okay,
99.
that was after Ball State was the party school of the country.
It was.
They were.
It was.
Yeah,
Back in the 80s, late
in
80s.
89, 88, 87.
Interesting.
Playboy magazine used to be a place where you looked at dirty girls, not
Right.
on the internet. #1 party school in the United States.
It was.
IU was the #1 party school when I came into IU, which was 91.
Yeah,
They were like just centrally located at that point. They couldn't branch outside of the Midwest.
Well, there's not more than corn in Indiana, so we just party at our university.
Well, IU was a high quality party school. I'll just throw that out there.
Yes.
I can
And in
attest to that.
Muncie for Ball State, what else is there to do?
Not much.
No.
I do love Muncie. Shout out to
Let's be
Muncie.
honest, ain't much to do in Bloomington either. So
No doubt. No doubt.
outside of that. Okay, so Ball State, and
Yes.
what'd you study there?
Yeah, after Ball State was broadcasting, and
Oh, no way.
so got into marketing, advertising, and broadcasting. Of course, moved around a little bit, and sometimes
wanna
I was
point out,
I was
you have
moved.
Has a
great voice for
broadcasting
broadcasting.
voice.
You
You do.
absolutely do.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
We should have you do our.
You should take Brad's seat next time.
You should.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
You just got to bring the comedy.
not sure if I got you there.
How's your dad joke repertoire?
I do have a good one though right now.
Let's hear it. Let's hear
okay.
On the spot.
What did the scarecrow say to the preacher?
it.
Can I get a hey men?
Oh,
That's a good dad joke.
you know the difference between a hormone and an enzyme?
No.
You can't hear an enzyme.
I'll be damned. There we go. That's a good one.
I'm on the spot. I don't
Okay,
know.
I'll throw yours. I'll do one for
Oh,
you.
no.
Please do.
Okay, so what do you do? What do you have if you have a tire, a pickle, and a screwdriver in one hand, a saw, a jar of pickles, and a screwdriver in your other hand?
Oh boy.
What do you have? Think of those things. What do you think? What would that make?
Brian?
I know the answer.
Oh,
He told me this the other day.
a hot mess.
Big hands.
Yeah,
got
really big ass hands. Yes. Good call. Just joking.
Ball State, and then into what?
Yeah, mostly radio advertising, different radio stations around Indianapolis, and went out on my own with a partner, did some advertising agency work, worked at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway production division for a while, went back into radio, and I figured out that after all the downsizings I went through, I needed to help people start businesses because we weren't going to be sustainable expecting corporations to always keep us employed. So started a business to help people start a business.
Big point there, young people.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
so
for sure.
that's how we found Home Team Inspection Service as a franchise, was because we were looking for businesses and things, and we had been in real estate investing already. Had a couple times where we waived an inspection, cost a lot of money. We had a really bad inspection once, cost us a lot of money. And so I really wanted to use that fuel to fire up this franchise, and so to build it in Indianapolis. And so that's kind of our why, to help people have a great experience so they understand what they're getting themselves into. There's too many things we can't see because there's no x-ray vision, crystal ball, broken just like anybody watching this show, but we can try to give you at least a better clue with some trained professionals as to what you're going to get into. So that's kind of our why behind the whole thing. We were bad landlords, and we had to sell those houses and move into something different because I still wanted to be involved in real estate at some point. I felt like it was more stable than advertising and marketing, broadcasting world, and I wasn't going to get downsized because there was always something happening in real estate. People were always moving.
Yep.
People were always spying and selling, and I just got to find where I can get into the mix.
Could you help with finding more people to sell?
I'm working
Like
on that
encourage
actually.
them to
Yes,
do
because we cannot get busy until the realtors get busy.
Man.
You know, it all starts with an address. So
I see this. I posted a thing the other day to Dr. Phil on it. It said, "Selling your house is like dating. If your house hasn't sold, it's you. It's you.
it's got to be you.
And think about it though. I see a lot of people. We've talked about this in other
Yeah.
episodes. They go, "Hey, my house is. I think it'll sell for $425, but I think we should list it for more than that. List it for $450. Because." Think about it, I'm going to sell my car. I don't want to put it at the price I want to sell it at. I want to negotiate. So I'm going to list my car a little higher, and then that gives me some negotiation room, right? Because everybody's going to come down. And in today's market, people do that, and they list the house too high, and the people that are out there looking going, well, I'm looking for a house in this price. Then we'll go look at it. Then the person lowers the price. Then they get 5 offers, and it goes back above what they maybe listed it for. So it's about a strategic listing versus why that house that's on the market. I tell customers all the time that we really like this house. On the house that's been on the market for 102 days. We have a good chance. Yeah, something wrong with it. It's overpriced.
So I had a conversation with one of my neighbors recently who has had their house for sale for a while, and we started talking about the fact that they had lowered the price of their house multiple times and still hadn't sold it. It's a fantastic house.
Are they in the spot where they're just like, make me move, give me an offer I can't refuse? Or is it more like, I need to sell this house and I'm in trouble?
I will say they're in a situation where they don't have to move.
Okay.
They have found a house they'd like to move to, but there's no real definitive reason, like if we don't, like they're not moving for job reasons.
Every situation I'm finding is so different, right? And you just see the loan packages, they're all different reasons they're moving.
So they had lowered their house multiple times. When we talked about like how they originally had set their house price, I said, well, the realtor we were working with said we should start here, and if it doesn't sell in a couple of days, we'll lower it and it'll trick the algorithm. I'm like, that's a horrible.
Yeah, now they need to take it off the market for 30 days and relist it at the price they want to sell it for or below.
Yeah, just a horrible reason to list the house so high.
That's
just
crazy.
Put it at a good price so it sells quick. Silliness.
So do you think the market's going to get easier for people to buy homes as we go into spring and summer?
Well, it's funny you bring that up. No, it's actually not funny. No, actually.
Okay.
There was statistics that had come out from January that the year-over-year pricing of homes had already gone up, and that it's not going to come down.
Okay, so how about another question? You think interest rates are going to come down into the summer?
Well, if you believe the multiple people in the world of media and numbers, that's the expectation. Yes, but we've talked about that.
Did you watch the news yesterday?
CPI, was that yesterday's?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was actually going to ask you about that. So take it away. What came out with CPI yesterday?
Inflation went up,
which means
Fed's definitely not going to lower the Fed fund rate in March, and it shows that maybe
you're making me drink.
Some of the inflation that is, what they all told us early, this is transitory, right? That means it was going to go away, and it hasn't. And one of the things that Fed Chair Powell is the most afraid of is making the same mistake Volcker made, in the 70s going into the 80s, where inflation started to slow. So hey, we went ahead and lowered the Fed fund rate, and then we had massive inflation for years, right? So if you look at what he's talked about, he actually has made a couple of daggers to the market over the last couple of weeks. First, he came out and said, probably 2 to 3 cuts in 24, 7 cuts by 25. Got everybody excited. Yep. Stock market took off.
Yep.
It's like
December, December and January, you had a lot of people start coming out of the woodworks with loan approvals.
Yep.
It's like real estate came into January with this firestorm of this is going to be a great year.
And rates did come down, from our highs in November, but and people are going to buy, and I'm busier now than what I was in January. It's insane, busier than the year before as well, which was a great year. But if you look at what's happening with inflation, and if you listen to what he said on 60 Minutes 2 Sundays ago,
when this is showing, it'll be more than 2. But either way,
it'll be 3 Sundays ago. He talked about the fact that sure, those were their targets. Their targets were to potentially lower the Fed fund rate in March, lower again maybe in June. And he said in that meeting, no, we're not going to lower it in March based off the last CPI report and the last jobs report. And then this CPI report shows that, not only has inflation, it has decreased year over year, but now it's gone up twice in a row, 2 months in a row, and at the highest gain that we've seen in the last 19 months. So inflation is rearing its little ugly head.
Yep.
So that really erases the chances of a March decrease in the Fed fund rate, and probably decreases one for June as well. Woo. So even though the Fed fund rate doesn't have an exact effect on mortgage rates, even though the news says, this affects mortgage rates, even though Rebecca Jervis on Good Morning America says every freaking time it adjusts 30-year fixed mortgage rates, she's wrong. It affects adjustables. It affects prime rate mortgages. It affects anything like a credit card or car loans. It affects all those. But the bond market affects 30-year fixed mortgages. And if inflation is going up, bonds are going up, and interest rates are staying higher going up, We actually tipped over 4.3 on the 10-year Treasury. It's the highest move in the last 200 days, 200-day moving average. It finally went above. And today we gained a little bit back because that's what the market does. On a high day, you have a little sell-off. The next day it picks up like the stock market did today as well. But I think we're going to see interest rates continue to stay high, in the high sixes to low sevens. They did tip above 7 2 weeks ago. But still a great time to buy a house. Don't wait around to buy a house because of interest rate. Nobody ever says to anybody, oh, we love this house. We bought it because it was a low rate. You buy the house because it fits your family. It's a great investment. It's where you want to live, and you fit it inside of the payment that you can afford. And if interest rates come down, you refinance, great, you save some money. But don't pick your house based on the rate, and don't rent because you think interest rates are too high, because if you're renting and you haven't sat down and done the math, and most people haven't, and I only have an 8th grade math education, so I'm not the smartest math guy, but if you're renting, your rate's 100%. I'll find out about buying a house and quit renting and stop wasting your money. And I'm off my soapbox. You can have the rest of the show.
Damn.
We should have opened with that.
I'm going to sum that up and say what I say to a lot of people or on social media. Whatever the rate is now, if you can afford the monthly payment based on that rate, then don't let the rate hold you back. Go buy a house. Because if you lock it in, especially with a fixed rate, then you're good to go. If it goes down, great. Maybe potentially refinance later. If it goes up, you're in business because you're at the rate that you're locked in at. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Brad.
If you have an $1,800 rent payment, turn it into an $1,800 mortgage payment. If you're not really fired up about the house that you can afford at $1,800, live in it for 5 years, pay the mortgage down, gain some equity, sell it, and use that money for the next house that you're going to buy because your landlord isn't giving you any of your money back.
Amen to that.
You know, we had in the last show, I know you all watched it. By the way, we do have 18 current subscribers.
Oh, baby.
So all 18 of you guys watched it.
Hello, 18 of you.
He made a bet.
Oh,
he was fired up, and
I'm not going to say fired up.
Did you guarantee? Did you guarantee a win?
No, I did not.
We just bet
I
who's
did
going to
just
win.
But I made
And
a
he said
legit
they're gonna
offer in a bet that was recorded, and stupid me did not edit it out. I know.
And here's what I'm going to say. In November, or whatever month it was when football started, the Chiefs got beat by the Lions.
Game 1, Detroit
beat
Lions.
by the Lions. And my buddy Josh Veldman, hi Josh, I know that you actually.
Hello, Josh.
He's one of my loan officers who's killing it up in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and he does.
Josh.
What's up, Josh?
He's a huge Lions fan, like all Michigan.
Oh
people.
man, yeah.
I mean, those people bleed blue. Okay,
and
silver.
And they love the Lions, and he's like 33 years old. And I told him that year, I said, you know what you and
Josh is 30?
Yeah. I said, you know what you and JFK have in common? He's like, no what? And I said, you've only missed one playoff game.
Ooh,
So
wow.
not now. They almost made it. But
Yeah.
I asked him that day. He was so excited that they beat the Chiefs. And I said, did you book your rooms to Vegas? And he's like, no. And I said, I did. I'm a Chiefs fan, and they're going to go to the Super Bowl. I told him that day the Chiefs were going to go to the Super Bowl. So I believed the whole time. The biggest chance I thought were the Bills may have beat them, going in because the Bills were peaking at the right time. But he said that
Gigantic
the Chiefs were not. Well, I drink a lot of tequila, and when you buy the little bottles, you run out faster. So I buy the big bottles. This is called Three Amigos. This is a great Blanco. It's an additive-free tequila.
Ooh.
And it is
It's like a health drink.
It's a healthy drink, yeah. Take a picture of Sammy Hagar at 76 years old and a picture of Bill Clinton. Put them side by side and tell me who looks healthy.
Is this a Sammy Hagar tequila?
No, but Sammy drinks a lot of tequila.
Got it.
I think it may have been. It may have been.
Well, am I doing this by
So
myself?
tell us what the bet was.
Oh yeah.
He said that he would drink 2 shots of tequila if the Chiefs won the Super Bowl. We're here.
Okay.
We're here after the Super Bowl with my 3 amigos.
There you go.
That works out well.
And these 3 amigos, and we're gonna drink a little tequila.
We?
No, you are.
Yours is.
I'm already drinking tequila. So now I love tequila, and this is actually a very good. It's a lower end cost tequila, but it's actually very good tequila.
Very nice bottle as far as bottles go.
It is.
It does look like the Three Amigos.
They're right there.
The movie.
Yeah, that
Three
right.
Amigos.
This one right here.
Is that Martin Short?
Martin Short, and then the tall one here,
Chevy Chase.
and then the almost short one there.
Steve Martin.
Steve Martin, yeah.
All right.
And Steve Martin, he played the banjo in the high school band.
And still plays the banjo today.
I don't know if he played the high school band.
Maybe he did.
Yeah.
He had a band.
Us people that played like guitar, and
keep talking.
they wouldn't let us play in the band. Like I played guitar. I played guitar since I was 9 years old.
It's a shame because that should have been on. Too bad.
But they didn't want to play like I wanted to play, like Hell's Bells. They're like, no, we're gonna play our school anthem. And I was like, oh.
All right.
The only school music I ever did was not at my school. So I married my high school sweetheart, and she went to Southwood High School. I went to Wabash High School, and they had a talent show. And they searched all the talent of their school and realized they needed me to come to their high school.
Oh, you'll have that.
That's not true, but it's funny to say. So one of my cousins was going to read the Pledge of Allegiance and a story about the flag. And then from there, they wanted somebody to play the national anthem.
Did you go Jimi Hendrix?
I did play it very much in Jimi Hendrix style, but it wasn't my high school. So keep in mind, it wasn't my high school. So I came out in the ripped up Eddie Van Halen jeans.
Oh, right? Baby!
Van Halen kicks ass T-shirt because
America,
not my high school,
right? Nobody to impress.
A jean jacket with a big Van Halen on the back and the bullet in the Wrangler thing, right?
Did you have your Van Halen necklace on as referenced in a previous episode?
Yes, I did.
All
I
right.
Van Halen necklace on. And probably the coolest thing I did was I lit a cigarette.
Oh my God.
And I stuck it on the end of my guitar like Eddie did. Sat down at the end of the stage.
Is this late 80s or early? Yeah, it had to be late 80s.
Yeah, I graduated in 88.
Yeah,
so
right.
it wasn't early 90s.
Oh my goodness.
Played the national anthem in that high school and then ended up in her yearbook.
That's a great story.
Yeah, that was like the coolest thing. Now they had me play. We did this thing at the end of the year. When you had a day at school where all the classes competed against each other, kind of like
now
a fun
known
day.
as field day.
Okay, so it was called the Sports Spectacular.
Ooh,
okay,
that was right up your alley, being a sports guy.
So they wanted me to play the national anthem in the gym to kick it off, and I got 6 notes in. And our athletic director was a gentleman named Don Bear, who was a bear. I mean, he was
Don.
He's
still
dead.
with us?
No, he's dead. A big giant guy, Vietnam vet. Got 3 to 4 notes in, and you hear the amplifier go as he unplugs it. And then he was so mad that I played it in that style because, to him that was just a blasphemy to the United States. So I didn't get to finish it at my own high school.
You know what? This one's to Don.
Hey, Don Bear was awesome. Oh,
there we go.
That's some
Debt's
great Wabash.
repaid.
Debt repaid. Now I gotta take a nap on the couch.
Is that pretty good though, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Not as good as the Cascahin.
Yeah.
Cascahin.
What did we? Is that what we tried earlier today?
Yeah, that's the one I did taste.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, there's actually Lalo is also an amazing Blanco tequila. Catago, of course, is fantastic as well.
There is one more topic I want to hit on with Jeff. Inspection wise.
Sure.
And this is something I've kind of come around to this year.
Okay.
Is new build inspections, and that happening like during the process.
Cool.
Because my house is a new build. Granted, it was 6 years ago.
Okay.
So now it's not a new build.
Correct. When we built it, I did not have an inspection. Because I was like, well, I know that the builders have certain codes that they need to follow, and there's a process they need to go through. So, what's the point? The house is brand new. Why would I bother with that? So, take that for whatever it's worth to you. What do you have to say about new build inspections?
Well, remember, they're a for-profit entity, right? They're going to count nails. Let's not count nails. Let's make sure we build the house with some nails. So, keep in mind, you do have some government in play. There's city, county code inspectors. In our main county of our metro area, Marion County, if the permit is filed or the inspection is supposed to happen from their department and it's 48 hours or longer, whatever the time length with that particular inspection, if it's not done, the builder is allowed to move on.
Yeah. See, that's something I found out this year. I had no idea.
So just with that in mind, you may not be looked after like you thought.
Yeah.
And they're not inspecting to standards that are in your benefit. They're just inspecting to the lowest general safety collapse, if you will. And I'm being a little facetious here. There's more that they inspect to than that. I'm not trying to give them a bad rap.
Right.
I'm just saying that they are understaffed in every county. There need to be more of them. They need to be more active because there's such a shortage of new build houses. They're going to be building more new houses than they've ever had before, if they honor their word over the next 5 years.
Lack of employees and needing to do it on a quick basis, they're building them quick. So sometimes things do get over.
So our government is understaffed in that department, which is where I hope we can come in and fill the gap. So we've got your back because we work for you. We don't necessarily work for the government, which
who's the government work for?
Exactly. Well, they're supposed to work for us, but let's debate that on another show. It's a different channel, maybe. So
it's this channel.
Is it? Okay. So they control so much of our lives, right? I mean, let's give some independence, and I think those who want an independent voice who's not tied up in any kind of, thing other than your own safety, those folks like us and home inspectors, whether it's home team or somebody else, have them come out before they backfill the foundation, or pour the concrete on that slab, or just cover anything up, and then have them come back again before the drywall goes on. Let's do a walkthrough so you know where to hammer a nail and to hang a picture, hang a towel bar or a toilet paper holder. Let's do a little bit of help.
Pause you right there.
Yeah.
As someone who has gone through new construction, I highly recommend that if you're in that process, take photos as you do your walkthrough on your pre-drywall inspection of where the studs are.
Yep.
Or where the pipes are behind the drywall that's going to be there, and save those for later. Because when you're going to hammer something into the wall, drill something into the wall, it'd be nice to know if there was a pipe there behind the wall that you might just ruin.
I mean, you can't just measure 16 on center and then know where the plumbing is.
No, you cannot just necessarily measure 16 on center. It doesn't necessarily work that way.
It's a great point. In fact, a lot of our report is just pictures, just to document.
That's awesome.
We also bring, if you want, there's different levels of that pre-drywall. We could bring the kind of technology where you can click your way through on a website and see the house and spin around. That kind of stuff can be done with a pre-drywall. Because wouldn't you want to know where all those beams are and all the important things are, like which ones are load bearing?
For sure.
Just it's the last time it's going to be uncovered.
Yep.
Right. So before they wrap it in drywall, then let us come back again a third time for that final. Not the kind of tour you go on where you put little blue tape and fix this kind of cosmetic stuff, but the kind where we're really doing a full test of the house.
It's generally about like a week or so before you would do your
little
blue tape thing.
Yeah.
What's the blue tape thing called?
There's a name for it?
I think they call that a walkthrough, right?
Punch list.
Yeah, the punch list walk.
I've
and
heard
then
that before. I've had some tequila.
My favorite inspection is actually the one that nobody really thinks about. It's the 11-month.
Oh yeah.
So before your warranty date expires, let us come back 30 to 45 days before that is done. Let us come give you something so you can take back to the builder and say, I have to have this warranty honored.
What Jeff is referring to is when you do new construction, your construction company, whomever that is, your builder, will tell you they'll come back at 11 months to do a checkup on anything you need to be addressed. And granted,
checkup from the brick up.
There you go.
If in those 11 months you have a major blowout, your plumbing blows, which happened at my house, something significant, you call them and you take care of it. But if there's other things like nail pops is a big one.
Good.
As a homeowner that I was worried about, that I paid attention to, not worried about. But other things that could potentially happen in those 11 months that aren't emergencies that they need to come out to address, you kind of keep a list of those things. Well, they'll come back at 11 months and address those things, and then they basically, they're kind of done with you, right? Have at the 10-month mark an inspection for them to come out so that when your builder comes back at month number 11, you can say, hey, I have these things that I would like you to take care of that you may not have even known about.
Yeah. And I guess the other thing I would say would be to make sure that you're documenting things through the whole process. And if you can, keep all the records from any service you've done. That'll help you. You want that home warranty to be honored. And
Definitely.
So please keep good records.
Yep.
And you can even roll that payment together at closing if you need to have us do the final plus the 11-month, 10-month we'll work with you. Just let us game plan with you and figure out how the plan that best suits your needs. All that stuff can be dealt with.
Awesome.
All the finance part of it should be a conversation you have with your favorite realtor, just to help you kind of coach through that process. And your mortgage expert is going to help you through that as well. Please don't go out and buy any new furniture right away before your deal's closed. Please don't go buy a new car. But there are things you can do to minimize your impact of your credit score, and things you can minimize your cash that you've got on hand, so we keep everything easy to get to closing. We try to help with some of those pay at closing type features so that it doesn't put anybody in a bind. So if you ever need that help, we're here.
Awesome. All right. Well, on behalf of myself, Brian Quinlan, your Indianapolis realtor.
Executive producer says we're not canceled. We're going to do more shows, so we'll be back next week.
Thanks, Tony. We'll be back next week, I suppose. Jeff,
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Appreciate your help.
Thanks for coming.
You bet, man. Thank you.
That is hopefully useful to somebody out there.
Can we have him do like our voiceovers, and then
We might have to. And
I think what a good thing to do is if we just stop wearing a mic, and then
just Mike, Jeff.
yeah, and then we just put this all in like Chat GPT,
You translate.
and then he could read it over us talking. We would first of all we'd sound smarter because Chat GPT cleans me up.
There'd be a
No.
kung fu
My
effect, though.
Chat GPT is kind of a sarcastic ass, but maybe that's because I may have told it to be that.
Oh.
I don't know where that comes from.
And then I always have to tell mine dumb it down. Then nobody's gonna think I wrote that. So I'm a illiterate moron. Just dumb it down, and then I'm like a little dumber. But that voice, that radio voice, that would make us sound way better.
You know what else makes us sound better? You have said
Not having a mic.
the possibility of writing like a guitar or something for you to be our intro music.
Writing a guitar.
Shut up! You know what I mean.
I don't know how to write a guitar. Do you mean play a jingle?
Yeah, a little riff, some intro music.
We need some intro music from you.
And you need the outro as well, just to take us out.
Take
us home, man.
unique, not before heard intro music from Brad Nickham. We need, please, somebody comment.
I'm gonna need at least 3 comments requesting.
Wow! All right. Well, please.
What's going to roll under the credits, though? You got to have some music.
We do need some credits.
There are no credits.
No, we need.
There's
credits.
an intro. We do.
The credit it needs to say.
If Brad provides the music, will you provide the credits?
That's a lot.
Location provided by Brad and Tony's Party Bar, located in McCordsville, Indiana.
That's fantastic.
Your host, Brian Quinlan. It needs to all be in
Wow,
there.
your voice just went really good.
That's how you do.
I think you've got a voice for this. You need a microphone.
I have a fake voice that I can use.
Awesome. All right. Well, again, wait. I
And
said
cut.
thank you. No, I said thank you. Do you have
Thank you for tuning in and subscribing and sharing and
again, all of it.
go to my Facebook page. I need more likes.
Wow, he's really just pimping himself out there for Facebook. Like, do you have a Facebook page? people
Thank you,
need to
guys.
see?
Oh, the Home Team of Central Indiana is the only place you can find us really on Facebook.
That works.
Home Team of Central Indiana. Spell
All
it
right.
out. It'll pop up. I promise.
Again, thanks for being here.
You bet.
Thank you for being here. Cheers, fellas.
Cheers.
Bring it in.
See you next Sunday.
We'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody.